Hi folks, it's Mayor Victoria Gearity coming to you a little late in the evening. I'm about to head inside to spend the evening with my family. It's going on 9 o'clock at night, just getting home from a last minute ingredient I needed to buy for tonight's late night dinner. I have a little bit of an update that's good news on the positive cases test front. We are down to just 95 active cases. So yesterday I think we were at 98. I'm sorry, 95 today, 98 yesterday. So that feels really good to be below 100 active cases. Though we have many more than that, that folks who have tested positive over the last couple of months. We're now down to 95, just the double digits in our active cases, and hopefully that number will continue to go down as we have seen it go down for a number of weeks now. The other numbers we're watching is when are we going to get to be one of those regions that has a phased reopening? When do we get to enter phase one? It looks like there are now 4 of the 10 regions are entering phase one in New York State, which means that in the Finger Lakes and I can't remember, it's stuff that's upstate. It's nowhere near us. Long Island and New York City are not opening up yet. We are not opening up yet. We're the Mid-Hudson region. But we do have 5 of 7 of the markers that we need to have gotten our check marks in. But one of them has to do with 14 days straight of lowering hospitalization rates, hospital death rates, I believe it is. And we're only on day 3 out of the 14 that we need to see. So we know we've got at least 11 more days. If they hold to these same standards, and we know we have at least 11 more days until we can start having a phased reopening. They could loosen the standards. You know, they did loosen them a little bit with the contact tracing numbers, and we got a expected, and that was good enough. So maybe sometimes it's a little bit like playing horseshoes. We'll see. They're doing their best to try and be data driven, but there are an awful lot of variables that are under consideration. I guess today I've just been thinking more about what can I do for other people in big ways and in small ways. And a lot of times it just comes down to small ways. And what do I have to give? And one of the things that I've been giving away for the last couple of days is beautiful scented lilacs. I have a couple of terrific lilac bushes that have been in full bloom for the last several days, and I'd been enjoying them in my own home. And then it occurred to me to make a bouquet and deliver it to a friend a couple of days ago. And then I said, hey, I bet there's people that I don't even know in my community who could use a little pick me up. And so I put that out in the world, and got several folks who responded. And so for the last couple of days, I've been enjoying delivering fresh cut lilacs to people in the community. At first it was just a couple of friends, and then it was folks I've never heard of asking for me to deliver it to their mother or their friend or someone that they saw was just having a tough time. And so I really enjoyed that opportunity to deliver lilacs to folks. And I'm going to do my best to get a couple of more out tomorrow, but my sons and I really, we got out the ladder today, and when we trimmed an awful lot of the blooms that were left, we're sort of at the tail end of our lilac season, but I'll see if I can get a couple of more out there before the season's fully over. The other thing I'm doing is signing up to donate blood. I'm type O. I've given blood many times, and OVAC is making it for us to be able to donate. They had their first day that where you could donate, and every slot was filled, which is not surprising. People are looking for ways to help, and this is something that you can do. Obviously, they're going to be even more careful with the spreading out of appointment times and the social distancing that will need to happen during the donations, more so than ever. But they have another date that they've opened up in June. So times are tough financially in a lot of our homes. Mine is certainly no exception. So what do I have? I have lilacs, and I have a pint of blood I can give every so often. So it's feels good to be able to do something for someone else, someone I know, someone I don't know. I read an article today in Governing magazine, but I've heard similar sentiments on the radio of when we look back on this generation, will we be compared to the Great Depression? I've heard we will be compared to folks who lived through World War II as far as the level of upheaval and transformation for our society. But what was interesting that I read today was when you talk to people who lived through the Great Depression, they talk about that as one of their favorite times, not the joyful, easygoing years that preceded it, but actually depression itself, even though it was such a very, very difficult time. It was the sense of community and generosity, connection that they felt during that time that they longed for and that guided them and influenced them throughout their lives. So let's hope that we find a similar of nostalgia and fondness for this time. At least that we get there at some point. For some of us, you can't even imagine feeling that way at the moment if you're going through something very, very difficult, whether it's with your health or with your family finances and stability. But if we can become part of the next generation that really is transformed and transformative as a result of this experience, then that's a challenge that I think we're up for. And hopefully we'll all be better for it. Meanwhile, some good news on the numbers front, but still a long way to go. Keep wearing your masks, keep social distancing, and washing your hands. Take care.